Hello and welcome, everybody, to Moonlighting Montana. I'm going to go through this quickly today. Actually, at home today, my daughter is sick. She's taking a nap right now. And so I thought, okay, perfect time for me to not only go over some of the scores that we had, but I'm going to do a little bit better job of looking into games for the week and predicting now that I'm kind of the lone shark on high school basketball, and I've been pretty up to date on teams that I've been watching. So today's going to be kind of blasting through scores from last week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Some games were played on Friday as well. A lot of teams just had to get back into the swing of things and playing some double headers. Some you get a day off, but a lot of pregame practices last week, and you could definitely tell some teams ran out of gas. That being said, some great basketball is going to be played this week, and I can't wait to get into it with you. Boom, baby. Here we go. So, last week, I don't know how many of these are going to be up to date. I feel like ScoreStream struggles to keep up. Our website struggles to keep up. There's just so many games being played. So if I miss y'all, it makes it a lot easier when I have community members reach out and let me know. That way I can get things fixed and I can avoid it in the future. So if you don't hear your team and you want to, just reach out and let me know. I know I'm going to miss some games. And even the games that I know I'm missing, I'm going to continue to miss them, and I'm not going to know that I did because I'm just running through scores so fast. So schedules are sometimes a little off, but it is what it is. Most of the time you're going to get the scores. Schedules might just be a little bit wrong. So let's just start really quick. Starting January 3rd, which was Tuesday, it's like the first day that teams were getting back. We had Malta versus Glasgow. Malta looking really solid, beats Glasgow 62-49. Hamilton absolutely crushes Stevensville, which that's a crazy score there. I don't know how that game went. I should watch it, honestly, because that just seems like an outlier in my opinion. Going up, we got Hot Springs beating Alberton. Alberton, this is their first year of actually having a basketball team by themselves and not being co-opted. And so growing pains, right? We see it in every division all the way up to AA. Huntley Project, who's really good, and I need to watch them. I think they're undefeated. They might have one loss, but they look really good. They were good in football. They beat Lodgegrass 61-36, who is the reigning state champs. That's right. No. Harlem played in the state championship and lost to Three Forks. That's right. Okay, so then we had Sunburst beating Valier 64-47. Ronan in OT taking down Whitefish. Then we got my Victor Pirates, dogs, coming out on top by 11 against Valley Christian. Huge win, because if you're a fan of Victor, if you've been to Victor, you know how important it is to get that win versus Valley Christian, and they took care of business. It wasn't the prettiest game they've ever played. There's a lot of things they can improve on, but that's a solid victory in my opinion. And they took the victory, so we are happy to be Pirates on January 3rd. Chinook, the Sugar Beaters, lose to Chester Joplin. I think Chinook's down. They were pretty good before. Drummond barely squeaks out the victory against Deer Lodge, but let's all be honest. I mean, that's a class difference there. So still shocking that Drummond came out on top. Drummond's super solid in the 13C division, and I'd say top of the division, but they are not untouchable like Drummond of old. They are not as solid as they used to be. Dawson, who's solid until they play Fergus, wins almost by 40 against Sydney. Beaverhead handles Park. Everyone expected that. Hart Butte finally scores a normal score against the Cascade Badgers. Before then, been putting up 100 on almost every team. I guess Cascade knows how to break the press. Fairfield wins by 13 against Shelby. We have Plains losing to St. Ignatius. Plains down. St. Ignatius sort of down. They still have Zoran, who is a 1,000-point scorer in his senior year this year. So they still have a really great player. They're just down compared to last year. Rocky Boy takes care of business against Cutbank. Box Elder, the Bears take care of Turner Tornadoes, one of my favorite names in basketball. Corvallis I think it's either, I believe it's either Anaconda's first or second loss. Norris handling business, Dakota Norris coaching the Anaconda Copperheads and doing a really good job, because you hear Anaconda and you just initially think, okay, they're going to be struggling. That's kind of been just the wave, and he's turned things around at Anaconda, which is awesome to see. Great little town. Fergus has just been rolling over everyone. My prediction is that the Gatorade Player of the Year should be in Class A, and I don't know, you could hand it to either one of them. I would say Robinson, but Fisher Brown's been absolutely tearing it up. But no one's even come close to them. Good teams haven't even come close to them. And I'm just waiting for a team that is going to knock them off their steady pace. They don't seem to be the type of team that wins and goes, okay, now we can just coast. They don't do that. They handle business every single night. They come out serious every single night, and they do what they're supposed to do. And that's, I mean, at this point, it doesn't even look like they'll get touched. I know that's probably not the case, and obviously somebody in the historic town of Butte will have something to say to that, and we'll see as the season goes on. But right now, Fergus is just tough. Wolf Point handles Baker, holds them to only 27. Culbertson, the Cowboys, taking care of business against Brockton. Then we get on, that's Thursday. Got into some Thursday games here. Then St. Ignatius plays again on Thursday and beats Arlee. Takes care of the Warriors by 7. Sims takes care of business versus Dutton Brady. We have Fort Benton crushing Hayes Lodgepole, and Big Fork absolutely trouncing Troy. Big Fork's really strong in the B division. I don't see anyone in comparison to them at this point. Fairfield, but again, Fairfield, we're talking Eastern Conference teams. You never know. Fairfield wins by almost 60 against Conrad, so just dilapidated Conrad. I don't know if they're just, I don't know what the discrepancy is, if Fairfield's great or Conrad's bad, maybe a combination of both. Now, Gallatin, I'm going to talk about them in a little bit, but Gallatin beats Billings West. Billings West is always good, and they're pretty good this year too. Gallatin Raptors are my team in AA. They are my team. They're the ones I've picked. I picked them, to be fair, watch the videos back. I picked them when everyone was high on Capital. Then Capital had some stuff happen. Glasgow wins by 40 against Saco. Then Jordan Freedy McLean with the game winner against the Granite Prospectors. When I talked to Coach Warren about the game, he told me, because NFHS was down, that one of the worst games they've played, but then they hit the game-winning shot. That's the type of games you want, right? You can play bad and still win. Those are so important to learn. You don't have to be just shooting the crap out of the ball. You don't have to be getting, the ball just it has to touch the net every single time. You can play bad, still take care of business and win. And the game winner was hype. He sent me a video of it. So happy for those guys. So another win against Granite. Good for Victor. Helena Bengals, they took out Big Sky. And we got, this is the shocker for me. Hellgate goes out and beats Capital by 20. And that kind of woke up AA. And for me, I think it opened my eyes that AA is kind of in shambles. One of the most solid divisions in Montana basketball, kind of in shambles a little bit. St. Regis wins by 20 against Hot Springs. Jefferson crushes Twin Bridges. Malta wins a close one against Rocky Boy. Columbus wins by 13 to Red Lodge. Savage wins by 2 against Ritchie. Shelby wins by 12 against Shoto. Stanford wins 14 against Highwood. Bozeman crushes Belgrade. Little brother syndrome over there in the Gallatin Valley. Luster Christian, the team that I can talk about a little bit here, did an article on them, and they have players from Turks and Caicos, and then some players from Washington, some even from, like, I want to say it was, I don't want to misappropriate where they're from exactly, but players from all over kind of moving there. They have they have almost like a dormitory for the campus there, and I don't know what to say about it. Kind of interesting. But they're very good, and I would say that they don't play as many talented teams, and that right now the competition that they're playing against, they're just so much more athletic. They will play some teams that really challenge them, but very interesting team to watch and keep your eye out on, because they're kind of they're doing something in Montana that really hasn't been done. East Helena gets a huge win against Corvallis. East Helena played amazing. I got to watch the game. It was awesome to watch because Corvallis is a solid team. They're athletic, and before East Helena kind of went out, and Corvallis would always think, even last year would just say this is an easy win, but not anymore. East Helena is a different school, different sports programs there, and it's fun to be a part of. So Bridger loses by 30 to Joliet. Bridger's way down. Charlo, Reese Cox and the boys are talented. And I know Knoxon maybe not be the highest team, but they've been on a winning streak in Charlo. Charlo been handling business. St. Regis is obviously going to be a challenge for them in that division, but Charlo's solid, and they do what they need to do, and that's hard to teach Class C basketball players. Listen, just go out and take care of business every single night, and if they did, this is kind of the result you get. Colstrip wins by 7 against Forsyth. Columbia Falls whacks Libby. Loyola, who again, super solid young team. Same kids I saw play last year, still young, crushes Anaconda. We had Cutbank crushing Shoto. Big Fork winning by 13 against Hill City. The Hornets. I don't know if that's correct. I think that's wrong. We got Havre losing to Custer County. Custer's not bad unless they're playing Fergus, like every team. And we got Sentinel beating the Flathead Braves by 8. Arlee killing Florence Carlton. We have Lame Deer crushing Forsyth. Nashua. These are just outlandish scores. Putting the smack down. The Nashua Porcupines quilling up against the Fraser Bear Cubs. Frenchtown beating the Hamilton Bronx by 16. We got Billings West beating Bozeman. Huge win by Billings West, because Bozeman kind of had that. It shows you where Gallatin's at, kind of. Butte beats Glacier by 5. Glasgow crushes Scobie. Scobie can't recover from the 2 years ago team that they had. Huntley Project beats Shepherd. We have Big Timber beating Joliet. Lockwood beating Laurel. Browning beating Libby. Eureka beating Plains. Three Forks beating Manhattan. Really big win for Three Forks. I thought Three Forks was really down this year, but Manhattan is good. Both coaches I know, Terry Hauser for Three Forks Wolves, he's coming to East Helena tonight to play the Vigilantes, and Manhattan Tigers Mike Deming, both great coaches. That's a huge win by Three Forks in my opinion, because Manhattan is definitely solid. Melstone beats Reed Point Rapple J. Reed Point Rapple J can't replicate the Class C documentary that they had in boys or girls basketball. Hart Butte takes care of Sunburst. Poplar takes care of Freud Medicine Lake. We have Broadus beating Terry. We have Broadview beating Roberts. Broadview, super solid. We have Columbus beating Roundup. Savage taking care of business in OT against Circle. Sheridan puts a beat down on Shields Valley. And that is a kind of a wake up to me, because Shields Valley is solid always, and they didn't get crushed by Manhattan Christian. So, Sheridan beat them worse. And so that's kind of a wake-up call, I think. Superior handles Alberton, the teams that were co-op, now not anymore, playing each other. That's tough. Turner handles Hayes Lodgepole. Harlingen Rygate taking on Busby, Montana, Northern Cheyenne Tribal. Harrison, who's really good this year, one of my favorites in Class C because they play in the strongest division in Class C, in my opinion, taking care of business against Gardner. Plenty Coop playing Absorki, beating them. We have Weibo beating Ekalaka, Anaconda beating Deer Lodge, Billings Central putting the smackdown on the Park Rangers, Billings Senior beating the Great Falls Bison, Beaverhead, we had Dillon beating East Helena. Watch this game. They had a doubleheader. East Helena did the night before. I think they were down 6 or 7 going into the half, and the wheels fell off. The kids ran out of steam. And you'll learn from losses like that, because you can see a half that you played really well against someone, and then a half that you didn't. And so, still a lot to learn. The score is not representative of the talent level between the two schools at all, because, like I said, one half, they handle business. Belt, who's really good, beating Winnet Grass Range. We got Box Elder beating Big Sandy. Big Sandy super solid. But Box Elder, the Bears, taking care of business against them. High-scoring affair there. Shot clock maybe getting involved a little bit more in high school basketball, seeing those 70 to 80-point games. Park City beats Bridger. Manhattan Christian sneaks one out against the Townsend Bulldogs. Centerville, they beat Valier. Skyview crushes CMR. Charlo crushes Hot Springs. Chester wins against North Star handily. Chinook beats Harlem. Darby beats Lincoln. See these scores? if you were a part of Class C basketball, 13C more specifically, these scores that you see for Lincoln are just a little bit different than they used to look, and they're going to continue to look a little different. The Lincoln Lynx, watch out for them as they get a little older. Fergus handles Dawson, of course, because Fergus is unstoppable at this point. Roy beats Dodson. Drummond sneaks one out against Sealy Swan to keep their number one spot in that division. Dutton Brady beats Power. Plentywood wins by 4 against Bainville. Gallatin, again, little brother syndrome, beats Belgrade easily. 28 points for Belgrade. Tough. Roy, 67. Centerville, 50. Alexander, North Dakota beating Webo. That's how close Webo is to North Dakota. We got Billings Central handling Lockwood. Not really handling. Lockwood's getting stronger and stronger. Still growing pains there. Dillon beats Stevensville. Big Sandy beats North Star. Big Fork, again, handling teams. Kills Deer Lodge. Baker beats Colstrip easily. Fergus beats Custer County easily. Ennis beats Lone Peak by 7. Fairview takes care of business against the North Dakota team. Send them away. We don't need them. Butte beats Flathead. Flathead's just struggling this year, guys. Florence Carlton handles Plains. Luster Christian, there they are again, 88-15. They kind of have just everything. Butte Central gives Frenchtown their first loss. Dougie scoring 29 in that game, kind of finally waking himself up. And they're playing better against good teams. They always play well against the teams who they should beat. And he always plays well against the teams they should beat. Then the teams that maybe might be a challenge, they struggle against. And Frenchtown obviously being undefeated, really good team. They beat them, so that was a good win for Butte Central. Sheridan beats Gardner by 6. Glacier kills Missoula Sentinel. Don't know what happened in that game. Just don't have it, I guess, in Sentinel. Wolf Point kills Harlem. This is not the Harlem Wildcats that we saw last year, I guess. Havre beats Hardin. We have Helena beating Hellgate, which I think is an upset. Helena's got them young boys, so every game's going to be a little bit different for them because all those sophomores are getting more and more experience. Hellgate's young in their own right. I think both teams just do everything pretty well. I don't think there's anything that stands out to me. They just do everything solid. Not a lot of turnovers, not a lot of offensive boards given up. They rebound well, they play good defense, and they score the ball the right way. And so they're always going to be solid. Now, is that going to be enough to take care of a really solid team that's better than them? Obviously not. Helena's just bigger and did things a little bit better. Helena has a little guard. Oh my gosh, that's going to tick me off that I can't remember that. Wetzel. There we go. Wetzel, who had a very good game. I think he didn't lead all scorers, but he led Helena. And then Sant for Hellgate, who led all scorers. And Connor Dick for Hellgate is also very solid. 6'4", athletic lefty. That lefty power. Capital does what they should against Big Sky. Jefferson beats Big Timber. Good for Jefferson. He's getting in that win column. Laurel beats Sydney. Eureka barely beats Thompson Falls. Lodgegrass barely beats St. Lebray Indian College, or Indian Catholic by 3. Malta handles Roundup. Manhattan Christian, so he wins by 20 against Shields Valley. And that's just, you see that score against Sheridan. It's just wild. Millstone handles business against Custer. Plentywood takes care of Culbertson. Browning beats Polson. I thought Polson was going to be good this year, and guess what? I was wrong. I'm not saying they're not good. They're just not as good as I thought they were. More of a football school, I guess. Broadus wins by almost 40. Well, they do win by 42 against Plevna. Then you got Red Lodge beating Shepherd. Ronan beating St. Ignatius. Scobie beating Seiko. Valley Christian beating Sealy Swan. That is a shocker to me. Wow. So that totally throws that division into, I don't know, just crazy. So Sims beats Valier. We have Troy beating Alberton. West Yellowstone barely beats Harrison. West Yellowstone, in my opinion, they are the number one team in that division because Harrison's really good, but they barely beat them. And from what I heard about the game is that Harrison scored 2 points in the fourth quarter and just choked the win away. And that happens in the middle of the season, right after Christmas break. You got Whitefish taking care of business against, or Cutbank taking care of business against Whitefish. Braveview Lavina handling Northern Cheyenne Tribal. Harlowton beating Reed Point. Stanford beating Great Falls Central Catholic. You got Park City beating Plentycoo. Belt crushing Hobson. Skyview beating Great Falls. Broadwater beating Three Forks. Hart Butte handling Power. Cascade beats Dutton. Billings Senior beats CM Russell by 3. Chester Joplin beats Hayes Lodgepole 66-24. Chinook wins by 8 against Turner. You have Columbia Falls winning by almost 50 against Shelby. Poplar wins by 30 against Dodson. And Drummond, the number 1 team in the division, only wins by 22 against Lincoln. A kid had to have 29 or 39. I think it's 39. Yeah, I think he had 39. I can't remember his name right now, but I will. So yeah, that's kind of the wrap up of what happened. Obviously, tons of games. That's why I had to kind of get through them. But some implications, especially in class, not really class A. We all know who the favorite is in there. But maybe some class B implications and some AA implications and some C implications. So let's go into some of the games that we're going to see not only today, but what games we're going to see just this week. For boys, we got Belgrade playing CM Russell at Great Falls. We also have Helena High Bengals taking off Flathead Braves. Helena will take care of business there. I think, like I said, I'm going to make picks here. I bet you CM Russell, both teams are low. Actually, I'm going to predict Belgrade to get a win here, just because of my heart being in Belgrade. Belgrade wins by 4. Then we got Helena, the Bengals, winning by 34 against the Flathead Braves. And we got Capital taking on Glacier. I think Capital wins by 18. Sentinel taking on Hellgate. I'm going to say Crosstown. Hellgate wins by 15 against Sentinel just because they're a lot better than them, but Crosstown, you never know what's going to happen. Bozeman taking on Billings Senior. Bozeman is going to win by 11. And you got Gallatin taking on Skyview. Gallatin's going to take care of business and win by 21 against Skyview. And Great Falls later on Saturday playing Belgrade. Great Falls will win that game by 16 after the Panthers get their win. And then we go on to, how did I miss this? Helena High versus Glacier on Saturday. I think Helena High will beat Glacier by 12. Glacier just kind of still middle of the pack at this point. Nothing can tell me otherwise. Capital's going to win by 30 against Flathead. Skyview is going to lose against Bozeman. Bozeman will beat them by 18. And we got the Gallatin Raptors going to beat this Billings Senior Bronx by 6. And I think it'll be closer than most people think. And then CM Russell is going to lose by 40 against Billings West Golden Bears. Billings West will then, I think Billings West is super strong. So Tuesday, today, in Class A, I think that Libby's going to beat Eureka by 11. I think Frenchtown is going to beat Beaverhead County by 8. Beaverhead County always stays in games. Frenchtown's just that much better. Stevensville is going to lose by 20 to Corvallis, in my opinion. Where did I go? Here we go. I think that Miles City is going to beat Sydney by 24. And I think that East Helena is going to beat Three Forks by 6. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So then we got... Okay, in Class B, I have Colstrip beating St. Labret. I don't know a lot of these teams, but I'm going to take a guess. Loyola is going to beat Plains by 30, I'll say. I'll say that St. Ignatius will win by 15 against Thompson Falls. Three Forks, again, we already kind of went over that one. Anaconda is going to beat Florence Carlton by 14. And we have Baker Spartans. They're going to lose to Ekalaka by 20. Then we get into Class C basketball. Let's say, we're going to say Two Eagle River beats Hot Springs by 6. And that will be a shocker. But it's kind of my upset pick there. The Loyola Sacred Heart, we already went over that. Going to crush the Plains Horsemen. I don't actually know where McPherson is, but Augusta, I definitely know where they are. So let's just go. The Bull Pups? That seems funky to me. I've never even heard of them. Augusta wins. The Augusta Elk is going to win by 10. Darby is going to beat Valley Christian, but only by 6. I think that, Valley Christian is on the up and up, and I think that they're going to play teams tougher and tougher, especially after taking care of Celia Swan, kind of woke themselves up. And then Ecolog is going to be Baker, like I said before. Another game that is happening today, Victor, I believe. I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure Victor's playing soon. Who do they play? Who do they play? Drummond? It might be Drummond. Victor does play today, but I just can't remember who they play, so I won't pick them. But that's kind of what's going on this week. Some games left out, and that's okay. We'll get into the scores when they're done. Kind of race through it today. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. Now, what I was going to say, talking about future postseason stuff as I take a drink of coffee just to ready myself. So, Double A. In my opinion, the more I've watched it, I've watched a lot of the Gallatin Raptors. They are the team to beat in Double A. They have all the pieces. They have a great guard. They have solid support role players. They have a great bench. They have an amazingly athletic big, and they don't make very many mistakes, and they're amazingly well coached. I don't see the holes in their armor at this point, and I think that they are the strongest in Class Double A for sure. Now, we'll see as the season goes if they can keep that up. But to me, at this point, they're the team to beat in Double A. Class A, do I even need to say it? Fly Eagles fly. Golden Eagles haven't been really challenged or tested. And it's sometimes teams can get a stop and they can stop Robinson or they can stop Fisher. But they can't stop them both. And then all the guys around just fill the roles, fill the spots. Role players, teams that have players that know their role is so important. It really makes a difference between a decent team and a great team. Class B, two teams that I have on my radar right now, and they just so happen to be teams that saw each other in the semifinals in football. Not going to say anything about football players that play basketball, but I don't know. Causation might not equal correlation, or correlation doesn't equal causation, but it's just more and more we see these teams who have great football teams also have great basketball teams with the same players playing both. I'm just saying, right? Fergus, state champions. Okay, Gallatin makes a huge run in the playoffs. In B, we have the two best teams in B, in my opinion, are Big Fork and Loyola, and they obviously had a crazy run in the championship. Big Fork was number one all year, and Loyola upsets them. It's just it's kind of a weird coincidence. I honestly think Loyola is better at this point, but that will be such a good game to see, and I can't wait to actually see it. Class C, I think that there's some other teams that just jumped onto my radar this week. I think that Harrison needs to be on my radar. Obviously, Luster Christian and the story involved with them and what they're doing needs to be followed. Again, who do they see? They're in a different part of the state than I think the most talented C teams are. Harrison being included in that in the conversation. I think that you have Manhattan Christian, who is just they are solid. They're a staple in solid Class C basketball, really well coached, athletic, but not as good as they have been in the past. Not even close. And Shields Valley, who's really down, only losing by 20 of them, kind of shows me that. So we got Harrison, Manhattan Christian, and then obviously West Yellowstone and Luster. Those four teams, until I see them play each other and until we see how they handle teams later in the season, it'll be hard to tell. Luster Christian, I'm never going to hop on the bandwagon until I get to see them play somebody else. And that might not be till way postseason, but they are a different breed of basketball team in Montana. They're long, they are athletic, they play great defense, and they just play a different style. And so they'll be interesting to watch going down the line. Harrison, they were good last year. Same with West Yellowstone, just returning some guys. And so they're another, two teams that I'm definitely going to have on my radar in Class C. Unfortunately, 13C not as strong. Same with 14C, just not quite there talent-wise, actually size-wise, right? So those are kind of the teams that I got on my radar. So it'll be interesting to watch this week as things unravel to see how teams play. This week should be more solid. I think we'll see less blowouts, less nervous play because we had that week where we didn't play any games or really think about basketball for at least a few days. And now this week people are getting back into the swing of things, getting their feet back under them. And now we get into the stretch of the season that's really important, right? About halfway through there, seeing kids kind of step up. Colt Parsons plays for Drummond. I just remembered his name. But seeing kids step up, teams rally around what the identity of the team is what I find. So that is it for me today. I really appreciate you guys tuning in with me. Turn this. Again, let's keep an eye out for teams this week. I'm going to definitely report the scores as we go. I can't wait to, again, see some of these. We're getting into crosstown, too. Some rivalry games, some crosstown things. So as we get into those, super exciting because crosstown, you never know what's going to happen. Belgrade steps up and beats Bozeman in the state tournament play-in game last year, which is just another wild scenario that you don't see very often. So you never know with these crosstowns, and let's see how my picks do. I don't know. Some of them I didn't. I took a guess, but I would imagine that a lot of these teams are going to be the ones that I picked. I picked a really safe bet. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching me. Thank you for listening to me talk. Hope to see y'all again soon. Have a great week. Have a great cold January as we get into springtime here. Thank you for watching. Toodaloo. This is Moonlighting Montana.